Hello and welcome back to my channel. Here is a fun Valentine's Day cake idea, a cake that looks like a big conversation heart candy. I'm using my red velvet cake recipe. I also added some pink to it. All my recipes are on my website at customcakesandcupcakes.com. To make my easy heart-shaped cakes, I like to use both round and square cake layers. I have a more in-depth tutorial on how to make these that I'll link here as well. But very briefly, as long as your square pan is the same size of the diameter of your round pan, this will work. No heart-shaped pan and no extra carving required beyond just cutting your circles in half. Assemble it just like this for as many layers as you'd like. And I still like to place all my top layers upside down to give a nice flat top and a nice sharp edge. Then we'll start crumb coating just like we normally would. The crumb coat will keep all the crumbs trapped after we chill it and out of the outer decorating layer. It doesn't need to be perfect. There can be a little cake showing, some air bubbles, but with heart cakes we do want to make sure we get a good solid start to our shape, as this lays the groundwork for our outer layer. To frost the corner point of the heart, I like to build up lots of buttercream on either side, and then you'll see when we smooth it with the scraper how to keep that point nice and sharp. Next, I'll go in with my scraper and start from between the two top bumps of the heart and just smooth outward from them. I'll continue my pass with the scraper out from the corner. I don't actually scrape around the corner. Bring it around past the corner from each side and that point will stay nice and sharp. Next, I'll level the top with my angled offset spatula. I'm just drawing in the excess buttercream toward the center and pulling it away. Try not to press on the edge, just very lightly draw your spatula in from the edge to the center. Next, I'll chill this well in the fridge for 20 to 30 minutes until it's firm and set to the touch. Now it's chilled and ready for the outer layer. Just like the crumb coat, I like to start by adding buttercream to the top, spread it and smooth it before continuing onto the sides. And I do have a tutorial that talks about frosting smooth buttercream cakes, round cakes. I'll link that here if you're interested as well. And once the cake is covered in buttercream, we'll go in again with the scraper. Using the same concepts when we smoothed out the crumb coat, start from in between the two top bumps of the heart and smooth outward going past the point. I do like to heat up my scraper under hot running water in between passes. It helps to smooth the buttercream more easily. So I do like using metal scrapers for this. Again, we'll level the top with an offset spatula or an angled offset spatula. Very light pressure at the edges, bringing it in toward the center and scraping it away. And here's what our heart-shaped cake looks like. This will go back into the fridge or the freezer to firm and set up before decorating. You can make your fondant letters ahead of time or on the same day. They don't really need drying time because they're just going to lay flat on the top of the cake. This is my easy marshmallow fondant recipe, which you can find on my channel here as well as on my website. And I'm using the 1-inch fondant alphabet cutter set from my shop, Custom Cutters and Embossers. For small cutters like this, I recommend using cornstarch for easy release as well as a brush. And I wanted my letters to be sparkly, so I'm adding Sweets and Treats Boutique's Cherry Edible Luxe Glitter Dust. And then we'll add them right onto our cake to look like a conversation heart candy. I found using a palette knife or an offset spatula to help lift them up really helps, and I don't feel like I get fingerprints in my cake. Lay them on there roughly where you want them to go, and then you can just adjust them like this. And sometimes I'll even grab a ruler to make sure it's centered. You could definitely leave the cake just as is, like a big conversation heart, but I did also add sprinkles. This is Kiss and Tell Sprinkle Mix by Sweets and Treats Boutique. It has matching colors to the colors I chose for this cake, as well as some cute XOXO speech bubble candies. We're going to add some around the border here. I'll place the big ones with my fingers, and then we'll just scoop the little ones on around them. I also added them to the bottom border of the cake. I placed the large ones on by hand, and then I scooped on more sprinkles and pressed them in with my palette knife or offset spatula. And lastly, I added a little sparkle to the top of the cake using Caribbean Edible Luxe Dust by Sweets and Treats Boutique as well. And here's what it looks like. What do you think? Should they bring back FAX Me into the conversation heart candies? Let me know in the comments which phrase you would place on your cake. Thanks so much for watching.